Good evening, guys. In the last session, we discussed about Windows operating system. Windows operating system developed by Microsoft, and it is having a GUI. It is single user based operating system, and it is paid version. We have to purchase the Windows OS. Security wise, Windows is not recommended, and Windows is recommended for personal usage. Then we have other operating system that is called Linux. Linux is a community based operating system. Linux is free and open source. Linux is multi-user based operating system, and Linux is highly secured operating system. Linux is recommended to use for applications, servers, and databases. In the company environment, we are going to use Linux to run our applications. Linux operating system developed by a student called Linus Torvalds in the year of 1991. Linus Torvalds used Minix operating system to develop this, and he released this operating system into market for free of cost, and he has given source code also for the Linux. So as the Linux code is also available in the market for free, so many people taken the Linux operating system and modified according to their requirement and released into market. Those are called as Linux flavors. There are so many flavors available for Linux operating system like RHEL, Ubuntu, CentOS, Fedora, OpenSUSE, Kali Linux, Debian, like that. So there are 200 plus Linux distributions are available in the market. All right, so theoretically we understood what is Linux and why we are going to use Linux and what are the distributions of the Linux. Next one, in order to work with Linux, first we need one environment. We need a computer with Linux operating system. In two ways we can do that setup. One is by using VirtualBox. Within our Windows machine, we can install VirtualBox. In that VirtualBox, we can install Linux as guest operating system. But if you go for this approach, then our system will become slow because our Windows is using our CPU resources and VirtualBox will use it, guest OS will use it, then burden will be increased on our computer, then our computers will become slow when we go for that. Okay, to overcome that problem, we are going to use Cloud VM. Using Cloud VM, we are going to use AWS Cloud in order to set up Linux machine. How to set up a Linux VM in the AWS Cloud? Already I have given the PDF document in the class notes. People are able to download that class note. People are able to download that class notes, and people are able to create the account, and people are able to set up that account. Set up the account and able to set up the Linux VM. Now guys, what we are doing is we are creating account in the AWS and we are launching Linux VM in the AWS. All right, now the step one, create account in AWS. Create account in AWS. It will ask debit or credit card. Only selected cards are accepted. Selected cards are accepted. You need to check whether your debit card or credit card is accepting or not by AWS. You need to have that card which is accepted by AWS. Now create Linux VM using AWS EC2 service. Create Linux VM using EC2 service. Now, what is that EC2 service, guys? EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. By using this EC2, we can create computers. We can take virtual computers from the AWS. I have given the document to follow. Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud. Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud. By using this EC2, we can create Linux instances. All right. Now here, AWS is available, guys. AWS data center is available. AWS data center is available. Now, let me take it as AWS data center. I am having my personal computer. This is my PC, my laptop. I can say that this is my laptop. And I am one user. I am using my laptop. I am one user. I am using this laptop. My laptop is having which operating system? My laptop is having Windows operating system. I am using this Windows machine, guys. I'm using this Windows. Now, I want to practice Linux. I want to practice Linux. Then what I am doing in this AWS data center, I am using EC2 service. What I'm doing, I'm using EC2. Using this EC2, I am setting up one machine. This is called as virtual machine. This is called as virtual machine. From my laptop, I want to connect to this AWS EC2 virtual machine. This is called cloud computing. I am using somebody computer to do my operation. Who is providing that computer for me? AWS is providing that computer for me for free of cost. 1 year, it is free. 1 year, it is free. I am using Ec2 Instance to launch this virtual machine. Okay, guys, now do you understand how I'm setting up a Linux machine? Do you understand how I'm setting up a Linux machine now? I have created an account in the AWS. I have created an account in the AWS. Guys, you need to have the card which is accepting by the AWS. If your card is not accepted, I cannot do anything. You need to take that card which is accepting by the AWS, either your debit card or credit card. They are not going to charge any amount. It is free account, guys, but you need to give your card details. If you don't have a card or if your card is not accepted, then I cannot do anything. Definitely you have to provide the card details, but they are not going to charge any amount. All right. Now, if by connecting to AWS, I am creating EC2 instance that is called as virtual computer. Guys, see here quickly. Within 2 minutes, I'm going to set up my Linux machine. Within 2 minutes, I'm going to set up my Linux machine. Go to AWS services. There is a EC2 service available. Inside this EC2, currently any instances available in my account? Do I have any instances available in my account? I don't have any instances in my account. Go to instances, no instance available. I'm going to click on launch instance. Observe the steps clearly, which I have given in the document. I'm clicking on launch instance. Here, it is asking me what type of instance you want to launch. Do you want to go for Amazon Linux? Or you want to go for Mac OS? Or you want to go for Red Hat Linux? Or you want to go for SUSE? Or you want to go for Ubuntu? I'm going for Ubuntu. Ubuntu is one Linux flavor. Ubuntu is one of the Linux distribution. I'm going for Ubuntu. Select it. Select it. Inside this, I'm selecting T2.micro. T2.micro instances are 1 year free. T2.micro instances are free. Here you see the label is available, free tier eligible. So you can create this instance for free of cost. You no need to pay any amount for the AWS. Now select, by default it is selected T2.micro. Click on configure instance details. Don't change anything here, guys. I'm going to start one instance, number of instances 1. I'm not changing anything here. In the AWS classes, this is Linux class, not AWS class. I'm just using AWS to set up the machine. When it comes to the AWS, then I'm going to explain all these options. In the AWS classes, I will explain all these options. For time being, let's move to next screen. Add the storage. Now here it is asking root storage. By default, it is giving 8 GB. For the Ubuntu OS, by default, it is giving 8 GB. That is called as a root volume. That means we can store 8 GB of data in that Linux machine. If you want, you can add the additional volumes also. In the Linux classes, we will talk more about these concepts. Click on tags. I'm not adding any tag here. Configure security group. By default, SSH protocol, I'm using port range is 22. If you want to connect with this Linux machine from outside, then this SSH protocol should be opened with the port range as 22. If you don't use this port now, then you cannot connect to the EC2. Where is the EC2 running? In the AWS data center. My laptop is available in the AWS data center. This machine is available. If I want to connect from my laptop to this EC2, then that SSH protocol should open. Otherwise, we can't connect. That's why SSH protocol we are opening for that. Click on review and launch. Whatever the options I have selected, it is displaying. Just I am clicking on launch option. Here it is asking key pair. Guys, this key pair is very important when we are launching EC2 instances in the AWS. You read it. A key pair consists of public key that AWS stores and a private key that you store. Now, to provide the security for our EC2 instance, AWS is giving one key pair. That key pair containing public key and private key. AWS is going to store that public key and you store that private key. Now, when you want to connect it up to that EC2 instance, you need to use the private key. That private key will be compared with the public key. If the private key and public key are matched, then only you can connect to that Linux machine. Otherwise, you cannot connect. Are you guys clear with my point? Public key and private key is called as a key pair. Public key will be available with the AWS and private key you are going to store. When you want to connect with that EC2 instance, then you need to use that private key. Now currently there is no key pair available. Choose one option, create new key pair. Create new key pair. I'm giving the key pair name as my Ubuntu VM key pair. What is the name I am giving, guys? My Ubuntu VM key pair. Guys, you need to click on download key pair. You need to click on download key pair. We need to save that key pair securely. That key pair is having an extension called .pem. Key pair will be available in the PEM format. Once it is downloaded, click on launch instances. Click on launch instances. Guys, now can you see my instance is launching? Can you see my instance is launching? With this, can I say my EC2 instance is ready? For this EC2 instance, what happened, guys? This EC2 instance is having SSH protocol. This EC2 instance is having SSH protocol. Why this SSH protocol is available for the EC2? By using this SSH protocol, we can connect to this EC2. Along with this EC2 instance is having one public key. Along with this EC2 instance is having one public key also. Along with this EC2 instance, it is having one public key also. Along with this, it is having one public key also. Why this public key is available in the AWS? For security purpose. This public key is available for the security purpose. Now, I have downloaded that public key. I have downloaded that key pair. AWS is going to hold that key pair. Now, if you want to connect to the EC2, then we need to use that private key. Are you guys clear with this? Now, guys, what I am going to do is, as a mediator between my laptop and EC2 instance, I am going to use one software which is called as Putty. What is the software I am going to use, guys? Putty software I am going to use. What is the purpose of the Putty? From my laptop, I will connect to the Putty. From the Putty, I will connect to the EC2 instance. Are you guys able to understand my point? What is the role of Putty software here? What is the role of Putty software here? Putty software is used to connect from our Windows machine to Linux machine. Now, sir, how can we connect to this Linux machine? What is the address of the Linux machine? Guys, whenever we create a EC2 instance, for this EC2 instance, one public IP is generated. For this EC2 instance, one public IP got generated. Now, it is having one public IP. By using this public IP, I can connect to this EC2. By using this public IP, I can connect to this EC2. This is called address. This is called address of our EC2. Every EC2 instance will have a IP. Currently here, it is having this public IP. This is the address of our instance. This VM is nothing but my Linux computer, which is having Ubuntu operating system. Now, in order to connect with that, I need to use this public IP. I need to use this public IP. Now, which is software I am going to use to connect with this Linux VM running in the AWS? Putty software I am going to use. What is the purpose of Putty? In the real time also, every AWS engineer, DevOps engineers will use Putty software only to connect with Linux machines. To connect with Linux machines. Are you guys able to follow? Are you guys able to follow? Are you guys able to follow? What is this Putty? What is the purpose of Putty? Putty is used to connect from my Windows machine to Linux machine. Guys, how can we connect to the Linux machine? We need the IP address. Now, go to your EC2, give some name for this. I am giving it as my Ubuntu OS, my Ubuntu VM. I'm giving some name. Now, when you select this checkbox, it will display a public IP for you. If you click on this symbol, then public IP copied. What is the purpose of this public IP? This public IP is used to connect with this EC2 from outside. Now I have a laptop. I'm taking the class for you in my laptop. My laptop is having Windows operating system. Now from my Windows machine, I am user. My name is Ashok. Okay, guys. My name is Ashok. This is my image. Now I am using my Windows operating system to take the class. And I want to use the Linux machine to teach you how to work with Linux. Am I purchasing another computer for the Linux operating system? Am I purchasing another computer for the Linux operating system? No. I am using AWS Cloud. I'm using AWS Cloud. AWS Cloud is having one EC2 service. By using that EC2, I created one computer. Can we see that computer physically? Can we see this VM which I have created in the AWS? Is it visible for us? No, we can't see that, but that is available. That is called virtual machine. We can't see with our eyes, but it is available in the AWS virtual computer. Now, for that virtual computer, there is a IP which is called as public IP. What is the purpose of that public IP? That public IP is called as address of that virtual computer. If you want to connect to that computer, then we will use this IP. Okay, my VM is ready, my IP is ready. My VM is ready, my IP is ready. I know the IP. If I give this IP address to you, can you guys access this IP now? Can you guys access this IP now? I have given to you in the chat box. Can you access that IP, guys? Can you access that IP? Why? Why you cannot access that IP? Is it secured or it is not secured? That IP is secured. That IP is secured. How that IP got secured? Key pair. Public key available, private key available. Do you have that private key? Public key is already available in the AWS. Do you have that private key? No. If you don't have that key, you cannot connect to my EC2. That EC2 is secured. I have that public key and I have that private key. By using that private key, I can connect to the EC2 machine. Which is software I will use to connect to the EC2 machine? Can anyone tell me which is software we will use to connect to that EC2 machine? Putty. Which software I am using? Putty. Okay, guys, here whatever the file I have downloaded, I have which file? I have a PEM file. Can you go to downloads folder? Can you go to downloads folder? Can you see which file it is downloaded? It is downloaded one PEM file. It is downloaded what file, guys? It is downloaded one PEM file. Let me keep it as key pair. This is a DevOps batch. Okay, now I'm keeping this in the 0 to DevOps key pair folder. Can you guys see the key pair is downloaded in the PEM format? Can you see that key pair is created with the PEM format? Now what I will do is here, guys, I am going to take one more software called Putty Gen software. What is the software that I am going to take here? I'm going to take one more software called Putty Gen software. For this Putty Gen software, I will give the PEM file and I will generate PPK file, Putty private key. I'm going to give .pem file for this Putty Gen software, and Putty Gen software is going to give me .ppk file. What is the input for the Putty Gen? I'm giving PEM file as a input for this, PEM file as a input for this, and what I am going to take? PPK file I am going to take. PPK file I am going to take. Now, in this Putty, for this Putty software, I will give PPK file and I will give IP. I will give the PPK file and I will give the IP for the Putty. Then Putty will connect to my EC2 instance. This is the process. Now, what is the first step I am doing here, guys? Observe. First step, I'm setting up virtual machine. I'm setting up virtual machine. When I have done this virtual machine setup, it has given me one key pair. I have downloaded that key pair in my system. I have downloaded that key pair in my system. This is my second step. Key pair downloaded. Third step is key pair I have given to Putty Gen software. Putty Gen software given me PPK file. Putty Gen software given me PPK file. Using that PPK file and IP address, I am using Putty. I'm using Putty. Then Putty connected to EC2 instance. This is the flow that we need to follow. I have already given these steps in the document, guys. In the PDF document, if you see, I have given all these steps clearly. Once EC2 instance is started, you can download Putty software from here. Once you have downloaded the Putty software, go to that folder, open Putty Gen software, open that Putty Gen software, load the PEM file. Once you load the PEM file, then you generate the private key and save that private key. That private key is generated, then go for Putty software. In that Putty, you upload the PPK file and you configure the IP of your virtual machine. Then you click on open, then you can connect it. When you connect, it will ask your username. Our username is Ubuntu. By entering that username, we can connect to that EC2 instance. Are you guys able to follow the document? Screenshots also given very clearly, step-by-step process, and with the screenshots, I have prepared this document. I think the document will help you. To connect to the EC2 instance by using this Putty software. All right, guys, did you understand this diagram? Connecting with EC2 instance using Putty. Connect with EC2 instance using Putty software. Connect with EC2 instance using Putty software. First, I have created a virtual machine. Once that virtual machine is created, we have downloaded the key pair. Key pair is downloaded in the form of .pem file. .pem file we are converting into PPK file by using Putty Gen software. Once the PPK file is generated, we are opening the Putty software. We are giving the PPK file and we are giving the IP address of that VM. Then we are connecting to EC2 instance. Can I do these steps now? My instance is running. You see this? When I select this instance, the instance state is running. IP address is also generated. IP address is also generated for this. Select it. IP is available. Key pair is available. Let me go to Putty Gen software. Once we download Putty, it will give you Putty Gen. In the Putty Gen software file, load the private key. What is the private key I have? I have just downloaded that key pair, which is available in the PEM format. Select all files here. Select the PEM file. I have selected that PEM file. Once the PEM file is selected, you save the private key. Click on yes. You save this private key. What I am going to save it here? I'm going to save it as my Ubuntu VM key pair. My Ubuntu VM key pair. Click on save it. Go to this folder. Guys, can you see the PPK file is created? Can you see this? My PPK file is created. My PPK file is created. Is it visible? Is it visible? Come on, guys. PPK file is created. Now go to close this. It is not required. Putty gen task is completed. Now go to Putty software. Go to Putty software. What is the first step? Go to SSH auth, browse, open PPK file. Select the PPK. Once the PPK selected, then we need to go for session and we need to provide IP address of my EC2. Here public IP is available. Guys, private IP is there, public IP is there. You have to use public IP to connect, not private IP. Public IP I am using. Appearance, I'm changing the font size. I will keep 20. Click on OK. Click on open. Click on accept. Login as, what is the username for this machine? Username is Ubuntu. It is authenticating my public key and private key. Am I able to connect with my EC2 instance? Am I able to connect with my EC2 instance by using this? Am I able to connect with my EC2 instance by using Putty? Is this diagram fulfilled, guys? I have launched my EC2. I have downloaded a key pair. I converted the PEM file to PPK file by using Putty gen. Then I got the PPK file. Using the PPK file and IP address, I'm using Putty to connect with my EC2 instance. Where is this EC2 instance running? Where is this EC2 instance running? Is this EC2, that means Linux VM. Where is this Linux machine running? Linux machine running in my computer or Linux machine running in the AWS cloud? Guys, I need your answers. I need your answers. Now tell me, which one is my computer here? Which one is my computer and which one is AWS computer here? Which one is my computer? Which one is AWS computer? Windows operating system computer is my computer, that is my laptop. Linux operating computer is a AWS computer. Now, how I am connecting from my Windows computer to Linux computer? How I am connecting from my Windows computer to Linux computer? Which operating system I am using? Which operating system I am using? I'm using Windows operating system. In the AWS cloud, I have a Linux operating system. I want to connect from Windows operating system to Linux operating system. For that, I am using Putty. Guys, now, if you have the Putty and if you have the IP, can you connect it to my virtual computer, which is running in my AWS account? Can you guys connect it to my Linux computer in the AWS cloud? Is it possible? No. Why it is not possible? My Linux computer is secured with the key pair. Which key is available in the AWS? Which key is available with me? AWS is having a public key and my computer is having a private key. How we are converting the PEM file to PPK file? Which software I am using to convert the PEM file to PPK file? Putty gen software. Once I got the PPK file, I'm using Putty to connect with the Linux computer. What address is required to connect with the computer? What is required to connect with that computer? IP. How many IPs are available for the EC2 instance now? How many IPs are available for the EC2 instance now? Private IP is available, public IP is available. Guys, here private IP is a static IP, public IP is a dynamic IP. Whenever you restart your computer, public IP will be changed. Whenever you restart your EC2 instance, here there is an option called reboot instance, stop instance, terminate instance. Whenever you stop and start your instance, this public IP will be changed, but private IP will not be changed. Private IP is the static IP, public IP is the dynamic IP. Which IP I will use to connect with the EC2? Can I connect with EC2 by using private IP or by using public IP? We need to use the public IP only to connect with the EC2. All these steps are clear. Can you take a screenshot of this? Can you take a screenshot of this? How I am connecting from my Windows computer to Linux computer? Can you take a screenshot of this? How I am connecting from my Windows computer to Linux computer? Now, guys, I will send this to my DevOps people. Okay, I have sent it for DevOps. All right, guys, is this screenshot visible? Are you able to take the screenshot? Perfect. Now I connected to my Linux VM by using Putty. Guys, I hope you understood what is key pair. What is the key pair? Create Linux VM using EC2 service. Download key pair. Download key pair. What is the third step? Convert .pem to .ppk using Putty Gen software. Using Putty Gen software. Open Putty and connect to EC2 VM using IP and PPK file. Open Putty software and connect to EC2 instance using IP address and PPK file. Guys, this is what I have done now. This document also will give you all the details very clearly. How to download the Putty, the URL is available. How to open the Putty folder. Once you have downloaded that folder, go to Putty. There is a Putty Gen. Double click on that file. It will open a window. You click on the load button. You select your PEM file. You select your PEM file by selecting all files. Select the PEM file. Once you select the PEM file, then you click on Save Private Key. Once you click on the Save Private Key, PPK file will be saved. Choose some name for that. Then go to Putty file. Double click on the Putty file. Once you open that Putty, go to SSH, then go to auth, then browse this PPK file. Once the PPK file is selected here, then enter public IP of your EC2. Once you enter this public IP, click on open. It will ask you to accept it. Then it will ask your username. Enter the username as Ubuntu because I am using Ubuntu machine. With this, we are able to connect to the EC2 instance by using Putty. Are you guys able to understand the process? Are you guys able to understand the process? Key pair is used for security purpose, Mr. Anup. He is asking what is the purpose of key pair. Key pair is used to connect to our EC2 securely. AWS will not allow anybody to connect with our EC2. It is securing our EC2 by using key pair. Public key is available in the AWS. Private key I am downloading. If I want to connect with the EC2, I need to use that private key. Okay. Now guys, once we are about people asking so many questions. What is Putty Gen? What is Putty Gen, man? Putty Gen is just a tool to convert PEM file to PPK file. Already I explained you. What is Putty Gen? Why I am using Putty Gen? Putty Gen I am using to convert the PEM file to PPK file. Why I need the PPK file? Why I need to use the PPK file? PPK file I need to give for the Putty. By using Putty, I'm connecting to that. Right. So many people are asking questions about what is that security group? What is that security group? Can I use what is the public IP? What is the private IP? Can I use one key pair for multiple instances? Guys, please hold on. These classes are not related to AWS. Those all questions are related to AWS. After 15 days, AWS course is starting in the same time. Then I will answer all your questions. Please allow me to teach Linux. These classes are for Linux, not for AWS. AWS I am using just to set up one virtual machine. Apart from that, I'm not going to talk anything about AWS here. These classes are for Linux. After the Linux is completed, then I will start the AWS. Then I will answer all your questions. I want to teach Linux. You are asking questions on the AWS. Then our topic will be diverted, guys. Time waste. Because this is not the right time to talk about AWS. If I don't answer your question in the chat, whichever you are typing related to AWS in the chat, please don't feel bad. Because you are asking incorrect question at incorrect time. This is not the right time to ask AWS questions. What is that security group? Can I use multiple instances with the same key pair? Right? What is that SSH protocol? What is that region? What is availability zone in the AWS? All these questions are out of syllabus now. All these questions are out of syllabus now. You joined here for AWS or you joined here for Linux now? Yep, Linux. If you people are asking such kind of stupid questions, I will disable the chat for you. You can't send me a message. If you people are asking such kind of stupid questions to disturb the class, I will stop the chat for you. You can't send a single message. So please don't spoil the environment. Please don't spoil the environment. Got my point? If you are not able to understand this process, please read the document. I have prepared the step-by-step document here. Then what is the use of this document, man? You may not be able to understand in the single shot because it is little bit confusing process. First time you are listening. That's why I have given the document for you. I have given the document for you. Just to follow the document, read the steps. You know English now? Read the step. Screenshot also I have given. Even 10th class student also can follow this document, can set up the virtual machine. Okay, you just follow this document and you set up it. Please don't waste the time by asking irrelevant questions. Don't waste the time by asking irrelevant questions. Right? Chalo. Shall I move on now? Shall I move on now? Very good. Very good. Fine. Next one, guys. Once your EC2 instance is launched, we are able to connect to that EC2 instance by using Linux. We are able to connect to that EC2 instance by using Putty. We launched that EC2 instance, which is having a Ubuntu operating system. Now I connected to that Ubuntu operating system by using my Putty software. Then what I will do, I'm going to execute Linux commands from today. From today onwards, the actual Linux is getting started. From today onwards, actual Linux is getting started. Linux VM is ready. Linux VM is ready. It is up and running in AWS cloud. It is up and running in AWS cloud. We are able to connect with the Linux VM using Putty software. We are able to connect with Linux VM using Putty software. With this, our environment setup is completed. Everybody having Linux machine ready now, which is running in the AWS, and we are having a Windows operating system. I am using Putty software to connect from my Windows operating system to Linux operating system. Now I am going to execute Linux commands. This is very, 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 very important, guys. From now onwards, actual Linux is getting started. From now onwards, actual Linux is getting started. Now, do you have any GUI for this Linux machine? Are we using a physical computer with Linux or we are using a virtual computer with Linux? Am I using a physical computer or am I using a virtual computer? Am I using a physical computer? Am I using a virtual computer? I'm using a virtual computer. So, do we have the GUI or we don't have the GUI? Do you have the GUI or we don't have the GUI? Do we have the GUI or we don't have the GUI? We don't have the GUI. Then how to perform the operations here? By using commands. How to perform the operations here? By using commands. Now, Linux commands. Here, first command, who am I? Who am I? It will display username. Currently logged in username. Currently logged in username. Now, let me execute a command called who am I? Can you tell me what is my name? Who connected to this Linux machine now? Can you guys tell me who connected to this Linux machine? My username is Ubuntu. That is the default name. That is the default username which is given by AWS when I launched my Ubuntu machine. Can anyone tell me what is Ubuntu? What is Ubuntu? What is Ubuntu? It is a Linux distribution. Here it is my username, but actual Ubuntu is a Linux distribution. Now my username is Ubuntu. I connected to this. Now click on enter one more command called pwd command. pwd command. What is pwd command? pwd command represents present working directory. Currently I am pointing to which directory? That is present working directory. Present working directory will be represented by pwd. Currently I am in the which directory? I am inside the home directory. Inside the home I am having Ubuntu folder. This is home folder. Inside the home we are having Ubuntu folder. I am the home folder. Inside the home folder I am having the Ubuntu folder. Currently I am inside the Ubuntu. Now can we display date? Can we display the date? Date command I am executing. Date to display current date. To display current date. Similarly, go for cal command. When I execute a cal command, is it displaying the calendar? Is it displaying the calendar also? What is the purpose of cal command? To display calendar. These are very basic commands in the Linux that we will use once we connected to Linux. Who am I? It will display currently logged in username. pwd, that is present working directory. Date to display current date. Cal to display calendar. That's fine. That's fine. Guys, now in Linux, everything will be represented as a file. In Linux, everything will be represented. In Linux, everything will be represented as a file. Everything will be represented as file. We have three types of files in Linux. We have three types of files in Linux. First one is ordinary file, or is also called as normal file. Second one is directory file. Third one is link file. In the Linux, everything is called as file only. Guys, now if you go to Windows, now can you see here? Currently, I am having C, D, E, F directories are available. C directory, E directory, F directory. Go to E directory. Inside the E directory, Ashok IT directory is available. Go inside the Ashok IT. Inside that there are several subdirectories are available. Now, inside that, let's go for 0 to DevOps directory. In the directory, there are again several subdirectories: backup videos, class notes, data, key pair, and one file available. So this is a file and this is a directory. Key pair directory. Go inside this directory. Again, there are two files available. One is PEM file, one is PPK file. So in this Windows operating system, we have a GUI. In the Windows operating system, we are having a GUI. How I am navigating from one directory to another directory? Double click on that folder, double click on that folder, double click on that folder. I am navigating. So key pair is one folder. Inside the folder, we have two files. But in the Linux, we will call everything as a file only. We don't call it as a folder. In Linux, everything will be represented as a file. How many types of files available in the Linux? How many types of files available in the Linux? There are three types of files available in the Linux. One is ordinary file. Second one is directory file. Third one is link file. Ordinary file. Ordinary file means the file which contains the data. The file which contains data is called as ordinary file. The file which contains the data is called as ordinary file. Now, next one, directory file. Directory file means it is equal to folder in the Windows. Directory file means folder. It can contain files and folders. One directory can contain another directory and some other files also. Directory means it is equal to, directory file is equal to folder in Windows. Directory file is equal to folder. It can contain other files and folders also. It can contain files and folders. The file which is linked to another file is called as link file. The file which is having linking is called as link file. We will discuss about what is link file, guys. We are going to create, that means copy. One file will be linked with the another file. That file is called as link file. That file is called as link file. Okay, next one. Here, how to create a file in the Linux. How to create a file in the Linux. There is a command called touch command. Touch f1.txt. Touch f1.txt. Touch command is used to create the empty file. How to check whether file is created or not? ls command, list. I am using touch command, touch space file name, which created a file with a name called f1.txt. How to check whether that file is created or not? By using ls command. ls is used to list the files. What file is available? f1.txt file is available. Let me create one more file, touch f2.txt. Touch f2.txt. I have created. Now f1.txt is available, f2.txt is available. Click on ls. Now can you see f1.txt, f2.txt, two files are created. Now which command I am using to create a file? Touch command. It is used to create empty file. What is the purpose of touch command, guys? It is used to create empty file. What is the syntax for this I am using? Syntax is touch f1.txt. Touch f1.txt, and I can use $of touch f2.txt. Two files are created. Now can I create some other files also? Touch f3.txt space f4.txt. Two file names I have given at a time with a space. Now execute ls. Can you see that f1, f2, f3, f4, four files are created? Do we have any data in these files? Do we have any data in these files? These are empty files now. How I am checking the files? ls command. ls command is used to list the files. Touch f3.txt space f4.txt. It is creating. First command will create f1.txt. Second command will create f2.txt. Third command will create f3.txt and f4.txt. To display the files, to display files, we will use ls command. ls means list the files. ls means what? ls is going to list the files. Now here file is available which is empty file. Now I want to create a file with some data. To create a file with data, there is a command called cat command. Cat command with arrow. I'm going to give a file with a name called hello.txt. What is the name I am giving, guys? Hello.txt. Observe carefully. What is the command I am giving? Cat, this is symbol, hello.txt. When I execute this command, it is waiting for me to enter the data. Hi, how are you? I entered my data, then press Ctrl D. Now file is created with the data. Let's check it. File is created or not? Yes, earlier these files are available. Now hello.txt file is created. All these files are created by using touch command. Hello.txt file is created by using cat command. What is the difference between this touch command and this cat command? Touch command will create the empty files. This cat command will create the file with data. This cat command is going to create the file with data. How to check the data of the file? Cat file name. Now in this hello.txt, do we have this data? Are we able to check the data available in the file? Cat space file name, which is giving the data. Hi, how are you? Now let me do one thing. Cat space hello.txt. I am writing good evening. I'm writing good evening, enter, control D. I have written some additional data. Earlier, hello.txt file is having hi, how are you? Now what I have done, I have written good evening text into the same file by using cat command. Now check the data, display the data. Cat space hello.txt. Previous data available, previous data gone. Is it having hi, how are you? Or it is having only good evening? Come on, guys. So if I use this command, is it overwriting the data or not? Previous data is gone. Can I say that it is overriding my data? It is overriding my previous data. I don't want to override my previous data. I want to append the data to the file. I don't want to overwrite the data. I want to append the data. Now see here, cat double arrow hello.txt. Then I'm going to write welcome to Ashok IT. Welcome to Ashok IT, control D. Here I used one arrow. Then first time when I use this arrow, a new file is created. Now I want to display the file data. For that I used cat space file name. If I again if I am using the same command to write the data, it is overriding the previous data. If you don't want to override the data, if you don't want to override the data, if you want to append the data to the file, then you go for double arrow. Cat space double arrow space file name, then write the data. Welcome to Ashok IT. Now cat space hello.txt. Cat space hello.txt. Now can you see previous data and the latest data? Can you see previous data and latest data? Yes or no? Fine. Now tell me, what is the purpose of the cat command? What is the purpose of cat command? To create a file. With data, we will use which command? Cat command. To create a file with data, we will use cat command. $cat space hello.txt. Now write data. Then what we need to do? Press Control D to save and exit. Now here dollar of cat space hello.txt to display file data. Now next what I am doing, of cat double arrow hello.txt to append data in the file. Now here when I execute this command, write data, then again press Control plus D to save and exit. Now see here, what are the commands I have executed? Control D, small d or small d's are not capital D. Small d. Okay. What commands we have executed now? Touch command. Can you tell me what is the purpose of touch command? Touch command is used to create the file. Empty file. Touch command is used to create the empty file. What is the purpose of ls command? To list the files. ls command is used to list the files. Then what is the purpose of this cat command? Cat command is used to create a file with data. After writing the data, how to exit that file, how to close that file? Control D. How to display the content of the file? Cat space file name, which is used to display file data. Cat space file name, which will display file data. How to append the data to the file? Cat space double arrow file name. This is used to append the data to the file. Are you clear with this? Can I do this once again? Can we do this exercise once again now? Yes or no? Right, chalo. Right. First ls. There are several files are available. How to create an empty file? Touch space file name. Touch space fi.txt. New file is created. ls. f1, f2, f3, f4, f5. hello.txt. Okay, fine. Files are created. I want to create a file with some data. I want to create a file with data. cat space f6.txt. Cat space that arrow I am giving, guys. That arrow I am giving. Cat space arrow f6.txt. It is asking me to write the data. Now, welcome to Ashok IT. Welcome to Ashok IT. Learn here, lead anywhere. Learn here, lead anywhere. Okay, I have completed my data. I have written the data. How to exit that now? How to save it and exit? How to save and exit? Come on. Control plus D. Control D. Control D. Control D. Exited. Now, can you tell me how can I see the data of that file? How can I see the data of that file? Cat space file name. What is my file name? f6.txt. Can you see the data is available in the file? Can you see the data available in the file? How to append the data to that file now? How to append the data to that file? Cat double arrow file name is what? f6.txt. Welcome to Ashok IT. Learn here, lead anywhere. We are learning Linux with shell scripting. We are learning Linux with shell scripting. Enter. Control D. Now again cat space f6.txt. Cat space f6.txt. Now can you see old data as well as new data? Can you see old data as well as new data? Yes, we are able to see old data and new data. Here what we have done, we have created empty file. We created a file with data. We are appending the data to the file. We are able to see the data available in the file. Okay, we are good with files now. We are good with files now. How to create a directory? I want to create one directory. I want to create one directory. Are you guys clear with my point? As of now, we created the files. Now I want to create the directory. How to create a directory? mkdir. mkdir. I want to create a directory with a name called. I want to create directory with a name called movies. mkdir movies. Now cls. Now can you see that along with these files, one directory also created? Can you see this? Along with the files, one directory also created. How I am creating a directory? mkdir. mkdir command is used to create the directories. To create directory, we will use which command? mkdir command. So what is the syntax for that? $of mkdir space directory name. With which name you want to create a directory, then give that mkdir space directory name. Are you guys clear with this one? How to create the files and how to create the directories? How to create the files and how to create the directories? Are you clear with this one? File means what? File means it will store the data. Files are used to store the data. What is the meaning of directory? Inside the directory, we can create the files. It is something like a folder. Now you see, key pair is one folder. Inside that key pair, I'm storing some data. Okay, guys. Now class notes. Class notes is one folder. Inside that, I'm storing the data. So like this, we can have files and directories. So in order to create a file in the Linux, we are using touch command and cat command. Touch is used to create the empty file. Cat is used to create the file with the content. If you want to create a directory, then we can go for a command called mkdir command. Mkdir space directory name. Inside the directory, we can create the files and we can create the subdirectories. To differentiate the files and directories are displaying in the blue color font. Directory name is displaying in the blue color font. It is just to differentiate whether it is a file or whether it is a directory. So this is a ordinary file and this is a directory file. In Linux, everything will be represented as file only. In Linux, everything will be represented as file only. How many types of files available in the Linux? We have 3 types of files in the Linux. First one is ordinary file, second one is directory file, and third one is link file. What is the ordinary file? The file which contains the data is called as ordinary file. The directory file is equal to a folder. It can contain files and folders. The file which is having linking is called as link file. Currently, we don't know what is linking. In coming classes, we will talk about this linking concept, how to create a soft link, how to create a hard link. That linking concept also we will discuss in the coming classes. Then, once we are able to connect with the Linux VM by using Putty, now I have executed several commands like who am I? It will display my username, pwd, what is my present working directory. Okay, right. Date to display current date, cal to display calendar. Now touch command to create the empty file, ls command to display to list down that files. Now if you want to create a file with the data, cat command with this file name. If you want to append the data, cat double arrow. If you want to display the data in the file, cat space file name. Some people may get a doubt, Ashok, how can I write the data to the empty file now? How can I write the data to empty file? Same cat command. F1 file is already available. Go for cat of f1.txt. Is there any data available? Is there any data available in the F1 file? Guys, do we have any data in the F1 file? There is no data in the F1. How can I write the data to the F1? Cat f1.txt. Simple. Cat arrow f1.txt. Then write the data. Good evening, my friend. Good evening, my friend. Control D. Then cat space f1.txt. Am I able to write the data to the existing empty file? Are we able to write the data to the existing empty file? Yeah. By using what? Cat command. By using cat command. Now, how to remove these files? rm f2.txt. rm f2.txt. Now, can you see F1, F2 file is available? Can we see F2 file is available? It is missing. How? Why it is missing? Why it is missing? It's removed. What is the command I use to remove a file? What is the command I'm using to remove the file? rm. Okay. Now I have a directory. Can I remove this directory? Empty is the directory having any data? There is no data. rmdir movies. Remove it. Now ls. Directory is also removed or not? Directory is also removed or not? Directory is also removed. Directory is also removed. Okay. Now to remove the files, we will use rm command. rm command. To remove empty directories, we will use rmdir command. To remove empty directory, we will use rmdir command. To remove the file, rm file name. To remove the empty directory, guys, I'm saying empty directory. If the directory doesn't have any data, then you can go for rmdir command, which is going to delete the empty directory. If your directory having some data, then rmdir will not work. You need to go for rm command. We'll come to that part. How to navigate from one directory to another directory. Someone is asking what is vi command. Vi is the editor. I will come to the vi, guys, later. Today is the first session. we are discussing about basic commands. VI is an editor. We will come to that editor concept, Mr. Ankit. Please be patient. Give me few more days. I will come to VI editor and I will explain you when to go for VI editor also. ठीक है ना? This is first session. This is first session. There are so many people who don't know anything about Linux, guys. Directly, if I talk about editors and all, they will get confused. Give me time. I will go step by step. Shell scripting कब start होगा? लगभग एक हफ्ता लगेगा. 1 week to 10 days it will take to start the shell scripting. Right? Fine. Now, guys, today I have executed so many commands, right? Can we see what all the commands I have executed? Can we see what all the commands we have executed? What all the commands we have executed? Can I go for history? Wow. These are all commands I have executed today. Which command I am using? History command I am using. History command I am using. Can I copy all these commands and can I give you? If you just select it, that will be copied. So this is the today's work. What I have done today in the Putty, I have taken history. I have taken history. First I have executed which command? Clear command I have executed, which is used to clear the console. Clear the console. Then I have executed who am I? PWD, date, cal, clear, touch, ls, touch, ls, touch, ls, cat command, ls command, cat command, cat command, cat command, cat command, clear command, ls. Can you see the history of the commands I have executed today? Can you see the history of the commands that I have executed today? Right. How I got the history of the commands? If you just execute a command called a history, then it will give you all the commands which we have executed. How I have copied this data? I have just selected it. That's it. You no need to use Control C, guys. If you just select it, it is copied. You can directly paste it. You can directly paste it. If you just select, the data will be copied. Okay. Now I will upload today's class notes into our portal, guys. So please log in into our portal and download it. Today's class notes is very important because we started with commands in the Linux. So from tomorrow onwards, we are going to work on very important commands that everybody should know. All right, Linux introduction commands. Linux introduction commands. I'm selecting this file, Linux notes. All of you, please download these notes, guys. Linux notes, practice given commands. Submit. Okay. Then how can you access this class notes? I already told you several times. You log in into our website. If you don't have an account, you sign in with Google Plus, login. Once you log in, you go to dashboard. You go to dashboard. In the dashboard, you can see Linux. You click on this. Fees is 0. There will be a button for you. And you click on that button. Already I have enrolled, so it is not displaying the button for me. You click on that button and go to My Courses. In this My Courses section, you can see the Linux image. Click on View Notes. If you click on that button, you will have a button to join the class daily, and you have the class notes. How to create account in the AWS? PDF is available. Operating system introduction class notes available. Linux VM setup PDF available. Today's class notes also available. Just now I have uploaded Linux introduction commands. If you click on download, then you can see the file. Class notes file will be available for you. Got it, guys? That file will be downloaded for you. You understand my point? Click on download. That file will be coming for you with the data. Are you guys able to access the class notes now? Are you guys able to access the class notes? File is not showing anything. Let me upload once again. Is there an issue with that file? There is no data? Okay, something is fishy. Let me do this once again. Let me upload. I will log in with my faculty account, dashboard, Linux notes. Where is this? Linux view notes. Edit it. Choose the file. What is that file, guys? Linux notes. Is this having data? Linux notes. This is the one. Why the notes is not coming? Yeah, guys, I will check it. I will check it and I will upload that notes, guys. I will check that notes and I will upload it. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you. We'll connect again tomorrow. We'll discuss some other commands. Bye-bye.